ahead and get into this next segment where we talk about the power rankings. So I'm going to go ahead and pull those up. Just give me 1 second. And of course, I have not looked at these power rankings yet, even though they were already out for a day. So we're going into this completely blind. Now, already off the bat, OKC being at number 1 makes total sense. They ended up getting, as you can see here, I don't know if you can read it, but I watched that game. They ended up beating the Cavs, and they were leading by as much as 42 points. It was really, the game was never close going into that. They clearly wanted revenge, and they capitalized on that. Obviously, in this matchup, the Cavs, they ended up beating them first, then OKC ended up beating them in the next round. So if this ends up being the finals matchup, I wouldn't have any doubt in my mind that this goes to 7 games at the most, or at the very least, it should go to 6 games. This would be a very, very competitive series. Actually, I lied. It would not be a competitive series because the Thunder at that point would most likely have Chet Holmgren. And the fact that the Thunder are just this dominant, 35-7 without Chet, is unbelievable. And it really does debunk all of those people that thought Chet Holmgren was robbed of the Rookie of the Year, which is, I feel like they're all gone now, but still, like, clearly Chet Holmgren, like, the value that he brought to the Thunder was nowhere near the value that Victor Wembanyama brought to the Spurs, and the real reason why OKC was so good was Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, as well as the rest of the team, not to discredit them, but, you know, a lot of people, they were trying to give Chet Holmgren a little bit too much credit for things that I think he did not do. Next is obviously going to be Cleveland because, you know, top 1 and 2 is going to be Cleveland and OKC until the records get a little bit closer between them and I think who's third, Boston. Oh, wait, no. The Houston Rockets are third. So Boston should be fourth, right? Okay. That's a little bit interesting. Definitely an interesting decision to make. I mean, with the way that the Houston Rockets have been playing, I mean, they ended up beating the Memphis Grizzlies and clinched a tiebreaker with them in that resulting game. And, I mean, the Celtics, they've been losing a couple of games that a lot of people don't think that they should have lost. They did destroy the Golden State Warriors in yesterday's game, but again, the power rankings were already out before that. No idea if that's going to really impact the power rankings. Jalen Green has been playing really well, so I guess Houston being at 3 makes a little bit of sense, but at the same time, I don't think, if I were to put Houston against the Boston Celtics, I'm picking the Celtics to win in that series. I don't think you would put Houston over Boston to win a series. I don't know. That's just me though. Then at number 5, we have the Memphis Grizzlies. The Memphis Grizzlies ended up losing a really bad game to Houston. But despite this, they don't end up dropping much in the power rankings. And I get it; they're a top 3 team in the West, and they beat San Antonio a couple of times. But I don't know. I think normally, I feel like if this was any other team, they probably would have been dropped down a little bit more had they lost to Houston. Not entirely sure really how that works, but obviously, here's the difference of games when the Grizzlies, when they have Ja Morant and when they do not have Ja Morant. That name just completely blanked out for me. I have no idea why. But obviously we know Ja Morant is incredibly valuable to the team, so not really saying much. The Denver Nuggets, they moved back up to 6, and they've been winning. They've won 10 of their last 13 games, so maybe they finally figured it out with the tandem of Russ, Nikola Jokic, Jamal Murray. Maybe. Again, I don't think they figured it out. I'm not entirely sure if I would really pick this team to win the championship, but I will say this. If the playoffs were to end today, I believe they would still have to play the Lakers, which is unbelievable. It's like the Lakers cannot escape the Denver Nuggets to save their life. It genuinely does. I'm going to check the standings once again just to make sure. And okay, no, they would not have to play them. They would have to play Memphis going now. But again, the Western Conference is like really, really close in terms of team record. So don't forgive me for messing that up, but last time I saw that they were going to play the Nuggets, had the playoffs end today. Now, the Knicks, they moved down from 6 down to 7. They're 3-6 over the last 2.5 weeks, so I guess that's going to deduct some points from this team. The Pacers being at number 8 is still rather questionable in my opinion, and I would not want the Pacers to be ranked this high, but again, I don't really think there are many teams that could be over the Pacers, at least with the way that the NBA has been playing now. I mean, I do definitely think that the Clippers should be over the Pacers, though. That is definitely a fact. Now, even though the Clippers, they went 1-4, for some reason they ended up moving up, but they won 4 straight, so I guess that makes sense. But still, like, being 1-4, then winning 4 straight, your record is 5-4 in your last 9 games. I don't know if moving yourself up for that by 1 is valid. And Minnesota still being this high despite this record, I think they are, I was honestly skimming through the records, yes, but they are the only team in the top 10 of the power rankings that have 20 losses already. And this is also in part of why I think the Pacers shouldn't be ranked this high either, because they are already at 19 losses. And that's just, I feel like you lost way too many games to be put in the top 10 already, at least this early in the season. And the Milwaukee Bucks, that's another team. I don't think they should be ranked this high at all. Now, maybe they're figuring it out, but again, I do not trust the coaching duo of Doc Rivers and Darvin Ham. I do not trust it at all. I don't care that they ended up winning an NBA in-season tournament or the NBA Cup. I do not care about that. This is a team that is going to falter in the postseason. I can guarantee you. Now, being at 12, the Dallas Mavericks, that makes sense because the Dallas Mavericks, they've been really lackluster without Luka Doncic. They did end up getting Kyrie Irving back, but again, this team, even with Kyrie Irving, they were still struggling, and I understand why they had to move them down because they're not healthy. It does not make any sense. At number 13, the Sacramento Kings, I don't know why they're ranked so high. I am not a big fan of the Kings, and this big 3 that they have is just not working. Despite the fact that they're 22-20, I mean, it's not working. This is a team that should have had a much better record by now. It's not working. The Lakers, of course, being ranked below the Kings despite the fact that they have fewer losses than the Kings. Of course, that makes total sense because, the power rankings, they do not like LeBron. They do not like LA. They do not like the fact that LeBron is 40 and still playing basketball. I have no idea why the Lakers are ranked so low. I genuinely don't. The Miami Heat, they are ranked at number 15. They move up despite Jimmy Butler being a little bit of an issue. Funny enough, Jimmy Butler was like, I'm back. I swear, he thinks he's Michael Jordan or something like that. Golden State, they end up moving up. I know they're going to move down after getting absolutely mollywopped by the Boston Celtics. They are also a rather disappointing team. They started out the season, I think, 15-5, and here they are 21-20. That is very, very disappointing. The Atlanta Hawks, 17. They move up from 21. Phoenix, another team that's been disappointing. They were the top of the league at one point, and now here they are 21-20. And you can make an argument that it's because of the offseason distractions, Bradley Beal wanting to, or the Phoenix Suns looking to trade Bradley Beal and things like that. But still, this is the Phoenix Suns team that was ranked at number 1, and now here they are all the way down at number 18. Now, the Pistons, I will say that this Pistons team is way better than the last few Pistons teams, so anything is a win for the Pistons at this point. The Orlando Magic moving all the way down from 14-20 makes absolutely zero sense, in my opinion. Again, they are very short-handed, and I totally understand that, and that's why their offensive rating is so blah. But still, this is a team that, with Paolo Banchero, is going to be very, very solid. I have no doubt in my mind that they are going to be an incredibly solid team. So them being this low does not make that much sense to me. Spurs being at 21, I guess it makes sense. Philly being at 22, they should be at 23. The Pelicans moving up, that makes a little bit of sense too. The Blazers staying there, and all of these mediocre teams are basically where they belong, especially Washington. So not really much that needs to be said on the bottom part of these teams. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of each and every team. But I have to be weary on the time because I got to worry about classes and stuff like that. So we're going to go into a break. Again, it's a little bit premature, but I kind of have to. And after the break, we're going to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, my favorite topic to talk about. So we'll be right back after the short break. Be sure to stay tuned.
Looking for your daily fix of sports talk without having to pay for it? GSMC Sports Network is available on YouTube. Just search GSMC Sports Network. Get your fix of daily sports talk shows on YouTube, absolutely free. NFL, college football, NBA, MLB, MMA, UFC, fantasy football, and so much more. GSMC Sports Network has shows running all day long, with new sports shows starting every 2 hours. Just like on your favorite cable sports channel, except GSMC Sports Network is absolutely free. Just search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube to catch one of your new favorite shows, like the GSMC College Football Podcast, Chip Shot Football Podcast, Hoops and Heels Women's Sports Podcast, GSMC Basketball Podcast, and so many more. Check it out for yourself. GSMC Sports Network, now available on YouTube absolutely free. Search GSMC Sports Network on YouTube right now.